we're starting off with Brock Lesnar, who is a multi-time world champion who dominated the world of professional wrestling and combat sports. Many believe that he was supposed to return at Money in the Bank, but appeared on Monday Night Raw this week instead. It appears WWE delayed his return for a good reason. The Beast Incarnate appeared on this week's episode of Monday Night Raw, and this caused total chaos as he went after Cody Rhodes. In the end, Rhodes thwarted Lesnar's offense. According to a report by WKRD Wrestling, Brock's return was delayed after the plans for Money in the Bank included other top superstars such as Drew McIntyre and John Cena. Therefore, WWE did not want to diminish Brock Lesnar's return. With SummerSlam just 5 weeks away, WWE has already made big plans for Cody Rhodes and Brock Lesnar's feud. We'll have to wait and see how WWE will book their feud in the coming weeks. Speaking of surprises, Drew McIntyre made a triumphant comeback to WWE at Money in the Bank in London's O2 Arena. It was an unforgettable moment when he faced off against Gunther, but the tenure of the Scottish Warrior in WWE is a bit of a concern. According to Dave Meltzer on Wrestling Observer Radio, Drew McIntyre's current contract with WWE is set to expire in early 2024. As of right now, he has not signed a new deal, which means he is working against the clock in WWE. However, considering McIntyre spent absent from WWE, Meltzer noted that there is a possibility that the company might extend his contract and could even secure another WrestleMania appearance for McIntyre, regardless of whether he signs a new deal or not. The future of Drew McIntyre in WWE remains uncertain, and we'll have to wait and see what decisions the company makes regarding his future. AEW's Jon Moxley is currently in Japan for the NJPW Strong Independence Day event, where he participated in an intense and brutal moment yesterday. In their exciting Encounter Doomsday no DQ match, Moxley teamed up with Homicide to face Jun Kasai and El Desperado, resulting in Moxley getting bloodied. But it didn't stop there, as Kasai even struck Moxley on the head with chopsticks. Ultimately, the team of El Desperado and Jun Kasai emerged victorious against Moxley and Homicide in a match that truly embodied the deathmatch style. The encounter featured not only chopsticks to the head, but also kendo sticks, trash can lids, spikes, forks, a butcher's knife, and even a crucifix made from razor blades. The usually reserved New Japan crowd chanted "This is awesome" during the bout and passionately expressed their appreciation for this match. Moxley will remain in Japan for a singles final death match against Desperado tomorrow, which means he won't be present live on Dynamite. Instead, a pre-taped interview segment has been announced for him. A recent intense match on WWE Raw caused a significant backstage reaction. On the Red brand, Rhea Ripley defended her Women's World Championship against Natalya in another thrilling encounter. Natalya brought the fight to Ripley, attacking her during her entrance and pushing her to the limit. During the match, Rhea even suffered a cut and was visibly bleeding, and at one point, it seemed like Natalya might score a major upset. However, Rhea managed to emerge victorious against the seasoned wrestler. According to Fightful Select, the higher-ups in the company were impressed by the gritty nature of the match, and despite Rhea Ripley getting busted open, it is reported that both women were satisfied with the outcome. Natalya vs. Rhea Ripley match received praise for its gritty nature from the higher-ups during WWE Raw on July 3rd. In fact, one of them contacted us and recommended it as the first thing to watch after Money in the Bank. Although Natalya didn't win the match, she issued a strong warning to the entire locker room, reminding them not to underestimate her anymore. She emphasized her ability to push anyone to their limits, as she was trained in the dungeon. "Sometimes people forget until I get the chance to remind them. I was made in the dungeon. I can take anyone to their limit on any night because that's what top-level competitors do. Now line up the rest and let me loose on them too." Natalya's performance on Raw should boost her confidence and could potentially lead to a push in the future. What are your thoughts on Natalya's performance on Raw? Share your opinion in the comments. Logan Paul has already established himself as one of WWE's top superstars in the short time he's been with the company. His matches against Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, and others have impressed many. While speaking on his Impulsive podcast, Logan Paul addressed the botched spot at Money in the Bank and confirmed that he is not injured and that he tried to do a Spanish fly for the spot. Paul said, "There was a botched move with a dangerous ending. I walked away this time relatively unscathed. I got some scrapes and bruises, but no major tweaks or pulls. but Ricochet and I were supposed to do what's called a Spanish fly off the top rope. So one of our legs is on the rope, one of our legs is on the ladder, and we're supposed to hit it at the same time. When he hit that rope, it was before me, so he moved it, so I slipped down all the way to the bottom. Keep in mind, I'm a noob. I don't really know what I'm doing out there. So when stuff goes wrong, I don't really know how to improv. So in my head, I'm like, this is we this up. How is this gonna do this? How is he even gonna do this? Our legs are all twisted like this. I'm looking at him like, oh, motherfucker is still trying to send this shit. I'm not even ready. His feet aren't even planted off the second rope. He just hucks a backflip. I'm like, all right. Went crashing through the tables, scraped my shoulder, hit my head on the thing. I'm fine, no concussions or anything. It's just a wild sport. I don't know what I'm doing. Paul also brought up his backstage brawl with Ricochet, which was shown on the July 3rd episode of Raw. He stated that the botched spot blew the match for him, which is why he and Ricochet got into it after the bout. I'm gonna be honest, he blew the fucking match for me. That's why we got into it backstage. I got into a little tussle with him. I felt like he was a little unprofessional. Speaking on Wrestling Observer Radio, Dave Meltzer claimed that WWE filmed the backstage brawl between Logan and Ricochet after the spot in the match did not go as planned. The company wanted the Spanish fly spot through the table to go viral and build up a match between the two stars down the line. Ricochet challenged Paul to meet him in the ring on the July 10th episode of Raw. Let's wait and see how this match pans out. Gable Steveson was signed by WWE years ago, but he hasn't debuted in the ring yet, despite remote training. However, it seems that the Olympic gold medalist is now very close to making his debut. During this week's NXT, the Raw Underground match made a return. Gable Steveson's brother Damon Kemp faced off against Eddie Thorpe, and interestingly, Gable trained his brother's opponent for the match. Steveson stood at ringside, closely observing the Raw Underground match, and after the match concluded, things escalated dramatically. The Olympic gold medalist entered the ring and swiftly overcame a few challenges by executing consecutive suplexes, and it was quite an impressive sight. The NXT crowd popped in a big way, and it was pretty apparent that Gable Steveson is going to find a fine home in the squared circle. To top it off, Gable also rocked his Olympic gold medal. According to Ringside News, a reliable member of the WWE creative team confirmed that Gable Steveson is in the plans, though no further details were provided. Considering how WWE's rosters have mingled in recent memory, it wouldn't be any surprise to see Gable Steveson find his way onto any WWE television show he likes. We'll have to see when Steveson shows up next, but he's certain to make a big splash when he does. Dominik Mysterio has been one of the most talked about superstars in wrestling ever since he turned heel last year, and this week on Monday Night Raw, WWE started referring to him as Dirty Dominik. While the wrestling world is reacting to Dominik's new nickname, at least one wrestling veteran has made it clear that they don't approve. Dirty Dutch Mantel recently took to Twitter and accused WWE of blatantly ripping off his name and stated that there's only one Dirty Man, and it's Dirty Dutch Mantel. Dutch Mantel continued to express unhappiness over WWE letting Dominik use the name in a follow-up tweet, and he also directly tagged both Triple H and Vince McMahon. It's clear that Dutch Mantel is not pleased with the fact that WWE is now referring to Dominik Mysterio as Dirty Dominik, but it seems unlikely WWE will stop using it, as they even used the name in a graphic advertising Dom's match with Seth freakin' Rollins during Raw.